What's going on, guys? Hey, listen. This fragrance is a goodie. Um, I've been wanting to talk about this fragrance for a while. We've done its cousin fragrance on this channel before, but this is one of those Lattafa clones that everybody knows about, but it's just a tricky fragrance. But we're gonna talk about it. Strap up. All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Hey, listen. From the House of Lattafa, without further ado, we have Bade'e Al Oud's Amethyst. And as I said earlier, we covered its brother fragrance, cousin fragrance, Bade'e Al Oud, Oud for Greatness, Oud for Glory. Either one, whichever one's the clone. I always get them mixed up because I don't rock that fragrance a ton, even though I think it's one of the most phenomenal oud fragrances out there. Nonetheless, this is supposed to be inspired by, I believe, hopefully it doesn't slip my mind, Initio's Atomic Rose, I believe. Juicy rose oud ambery fragrance. Man, I just gotta say this, guys. Early on in my fragrance journey, I picked up this and Oud for Glory, Oud for Greatness, whichever one the clone was, and I bought it as a box set. And I remember just as one of my early clone fragrances, just being blown away at the quality of the bottle. You've got this kind of like almost rubbery like outside, even though you know it's covering hard glass. You've got kind of this great Gatsby aesthetic, shiny gold and black finish, and over a rich, plumish, eggplanty purple rubber coating. Nice solid cap, beautiful atomizer, gold top. I mean, this fragrance just looks rich, guys. I mean, this to me, I think the Bade'e Al Oud line for these two in particular, even Sublime and the white one, really should get a lot of credit in terms of quality. Yeah, they are biting the heck out of the fragrances they're inspired by in terms of bottle presentation, but they certainly remixed it with enough respect, in my opinion, for them to be inspired designs. The quality is absolutely there. When you're holding this bottle, it feels substantial. It feels high quality. It looks very neat. And again, like I said before, the aesthetic is kind of that great Gatsby look. We always hear talks about Oud for Glory, or matter of fact, I'm just going to stop calling it the wrong thing. Let's look this up right now. I think it's Oud for Glory. Oud for Glory. Yeah. The clone is Oud for Glory. We hear a lot of talk about Oud for Glory as just being one of the most smooth Oud for Greatness fragrances, or one of the best one-to-one clones of Oud for Greatness by Initio. Also just being a very unique oudy fragrance, one of the Middle Eastern fragrances that I think really translates well in the States, for being one of the most unique oud and cold weather fragrances that are showstoppers, beast mode, basically everything you want in a fragrance. You know, budget friendly, quality presentation, great atomizer, lasting power projection, sillage, quality ingredients. Oud for Glory certainly gets the cake there, but Amethyst is right there next to it, guys. I mean, if the profile had been a more commercial note profile, I think it would get more love, but everybody's certainly made their rounds on YouTube talking about this fragrance. Rosy fragrance, jammy rose, you know, not quite Oud Satin Mood jammy rose. That's more of like a cakey, powdery rose. This one's more jam. I may have used the adjective or whatever jammy when I was describing, you know, Oud Satin Mood or Oud Satin the clone, but I really shouldn't have been saying jammy. I should have been saying like just juicy and powdery and heavy, because those roses comparatively to this, if I was to use jam for both, it would make absolutely no sense. This smells like a roasted, you know, wine reduction-y rose, jammy rose reduction that you would put on a piece of chicken or something, you know, almost like you had apricot chicken. You would have this kind of jammy rose glaze that would go on some chicken, for lack of better description. But it's really good. It's really quality, and it gives a different take on the rose than Oud Satin Mood. You wouldn't be redundant at all owning Amethyst and Oud Satin or Oud Satin Mood, because the jammy rose versus the very powdery rose is two different takes. Now, again, rose is a fragrance that, as a man, you really got to be comfortable in your own skin, and a certain type of man really likes this profile, because if you're insecure at all, what your nose will immediately think and reminisce on is kind of this, and I'm not going to spray it on the test strip, guys. I mean, you can smell this fragrance through the box, through the atomizer. You don't need to spray it in the air. It didn't need to macerate at all, even though I've had this fragrance for like a year, and I've sprayed it several times. I know what it smells like on skin. It's just so pungent. We're going to be just fine here on the video without caking up my whole room in atomic rose. But this fragrance is like, you have to be secure in yourself, because if you just blink for half a second when you're smelling this, you might get the touch of reminiscence of like a really fancy, hip, young feeling old woman. Like, if I just didn't pay attention for half a second, was just casually smelling this, I immediately think of like a 60-year-old woman that's just super hip and cool and dope. This would be her fun fragrance out, cold weather dominant, but probably could be any season, any reason, one spray killer. And she would just be this really upscale, classy, youthful woman. So that could be something that you may feel towards this fragrance. I think, again, due to the fact that it is rose, jammy rose at that, it's heavy, it's unapologetic. You could be intimidated by rocking a fragrance like this, because that's the first thing that comes to mind. But I think as long as you play the game correctly, meaning you wear it in cold weather, indoor cold weather, crisp, aerating room, you don't go hard on the trigger finger, 1 or 2 sprays max. I would say 2 spray killer in the right aeration, 1 spray killer just to be conservative. I don't think this mixes well with anything unless it was something like more mineralic to kind of super tone it down. Maybe like Woody Oud by Maison Alhambra, or even taking it to the extent of Tom Ford's Oud Wood, because to be quite honest, this fragrance does not smell like a clone. The ingredients is there, the quality is there in every regard. I can't speak to if this is 1-to-1 to Atomic Rose by Initio Parfums. I can speak to that for the other clone, but not this one, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I've heard that it is right up the alley, you know, probably like a 9 out of 10 in terms of closeness and quality and presentation and all that jazz. Again, this is a star-studded clone. It's worth every penny if it's for you, okay? I told you guys kind of what it smells like. Jammy rose, some oud, and some amber. Let's go ahead and take you guys to the Fragrantica before we kind of give my final thoughts, my little summary bucket list or checklist for this fragrance. So up top, pink pepper and bergamot. I'm going to be honest, not really. Ignore the top notes. Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose, jasmine. I definitely get jammy rose, jammy jelly kind of rose. Very tastefully done. But I feel like that jasmine, even though I don't smell it distinctly, it kind of freshens up and kind of has this top note of freshness that maybe the bergamot is contributing to, as well as the pink pepper. I don't find this fragrance to be too peppery, but maybe if you can detect it, it's maybe 10% at the very best. Agarwood oud on the bottom, amber and vanilla, the usual suspects. So that vanilla and that amber just really ramping up the thickness of the rose. And I actually think the funkiness from the oud is actually pushing the rose to kind of have this classiness almost, because it goes jammy rose, but then that oud over top, you definitely smell the oud over the top, and kind of, it's not really a funky oud, it's kind of a fresh oud. So yeah, there's the note breakdown. Again, now let's talk, kind of brass tacks to the fragrance. I don't think that there's a lot to this fragrance. It is a classy, sophisticated, jammy rose that's freshened up by jasmine and given serious beast mode girth by vanilla and amber. And then it's made more classy and interesting and mysterious by the oud undercurrent, which is probably about 20% there, surprisingly. And I think there's supposed to be oud in Oud Satin Mood by MFK, but I didn't really smell much oud in that fragrance. You can certainly smell the oud in this. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Oud for Glory has some similarities in terms of how oud was treated on Oud for Glory, as well as Amethyst. Okay, brass tacks. I don't think this is any season, any reason, to be honest. This is cold weather or cold weather indoors, fall, winter, or cold indoors. You want to be in an aerated place. You don't want to be kind of soaking up in this in a very kind of humidity type manner. You want wherever you're supposed to be with this to be aerated. It is a unisex fragrance. So let me just say that first and foremost. I think it leans feminine for sure. But I think in the right circumstance, if the weather's cold enough, as a man, you can bust this out and you will smell somewhat tasty to the opposite sex. $20 to $25 fragrance. Probably 25 is going to be your safe bet. You don't have to look very far for this fragrance. It is always listed on Amazon, so don't really worry about getting it anywhere else. Unless you don't have Amazon Prime, then you might want to go to your Fragrance Buy or Fragrance Net or whatever. Age, as a woman, I think you could probably rock this 25 and up safely. Just be real light on the trigger finger the younger you are. As a man, I'm gonna just to be safe. Sometimes I try to be edgy and take it down to 25, but I'm gonna say this is a 30 and up fragrance. This is for a grown man who's really about his business, who knows he's confident, and he just happens to love the note of rose. He will very, very circumstantially bust this out like a Swiss Army knife in a time of need, where he's tired of just smelling like citrus or woods or vetiver and kind of being that classy man. He wants to show a kind of softer, delicate side. He's going to bust out a rose fragrance, and it's probably going to be Oud Satin Mood by MFK, Oud Satin the clone, or Initio Parfums Atomic Rose, or Amethyst the clone. So with that being said, use cases, again, cold weather, but as far as circumstantially, as far as circumstance, we're talking for a woman. I don't really know for a woman what it would go for, because I feel like it could go from casual to class, because this is like, it just has sophistication and playfulness in it from a woman's take. And I can't really take it to what circumstance that would be, because I think it's very much dictated by the woman who's wearing it. Sorry, I don't know what women think. Spoiler alert. For a man, this could only possibly be a date night kind of out of the bag fragrance where you hit him from left field. Definitely not a date night opener. This is the one where you're dating the chick a couple times. You want to go through the arsenal, show her different sides of you. You bust this out, fourth or fifth fragrance down the line, fourth or fifth date. Maybe a family event where you're trying to smell classy but kind of show off a kind of feminine side, a softer side to you, not be so edgy. Maybe a family reunion type vibe, or like a funeral. I hate saying that. A date night, a serious occasion, maybe going to like a comedy club or something indoors. You know what I'm saying? I don't think as a man, you're just wearing this by yourself casually in a serious setting, like a cigar lounge or something. It just doesn't quite make sense. because you're kind of playing with masculinity here wearing this fragrance. I think like you have to have very intentional. You have to be very intentional about what you're trying to showcase in wearing this, and the setting that you're in will kind of play into the story of why you would wear something like this. Young guys, stay away from this. This is too much hair on your chest. I'm calling it 30 and up for men, and it can be a showstopper, but a very circumstantial. Pull it out once in a while, just to remind people that you got dimension to you type of fragrance. But for 25 bucks, the quality in this perfumery is absolutely stellar. I'm glad I bought it. I don't like to put any cap in my wrap, guys. I have not worn this at all since I've owned it. However, I've put it in the air in my room in this office here. I've put it on skin a few times just to kind of see. But it is just so beast mode that if I did wear this, I would go one spray. And me and my wife are in a stage of life right now where we just don't get out much. We got 2 kids, basically a newborn, and we haven't had the time to go out to a nice occasion where I might be gutsy enough to rock this. So, and I'm in Arizona, one of the hottest places ever. So this is kind of a fragrance that I got mostly to review, but best believe if I'm ever traveling or wifey and I get in the season of life where we're going out on dates more, we're going, to really classy places, I will absolutely bust this out because this is like mysterious rose. You know what I'm saying? It's got this Gatsby bottle is so fitting for this fragrance because it's kind of this classy, who the heck is that guy, mysterious kind of rose to it. It's a dimension and a facet that Oud Satin Mood doesn't have. Oud Satin Mood takes the rose a different direction. How did we hit 20 minutes, guys? Anyway, I hope you guys have a blessed night. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. Thank you guys to everybody who's in the comment section. It is just crazy how much comments I get per day on this channel. I probably get 10 to 15 comments a day. All quality commentary on my videos. We have conversations and exchange, and it's a beautiful thing, man. If you're new to the channel, sign up, man. Get the subscribe button in. We're dropping videos every single day. The community is very interactive and loving and kind and wide age range, wide ethnic range. I checked my analytics, and it's just a really dope thing. I am your host. This is Lattafa's Bade'e Al Oud's Amethyst, and it's a certified banger. And put your nose on it, man. This is the Scent Bubble signing out.